a good ball played in for Tony Morley. Oh, he missed it! It is! Peekaboo! Villa in the lead!
Good evening, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to the Villa Forever podcast. I am your host, Chad Williams. Please subscribe, help me to the road to 2K, and you can follow me on Spotify, Apple and Amazon Music. Let's spread awareness of Duchenne muscular dystrophy. This evening, I'm joined by my special guest, Jose Garcia, who is the host of Tel Cockerel. This is the match preview. I'll be doing a pre-match talk show. Aston Villa versus Tottenham. It's in the Premier League. Friday night football under lights. It's important that Villa keep the winning mentality going. And they're up against a struggling Tottenham team in the Premier League and Europa League finalists. This is the last home game of the season at Villa Park, and it's the penultimate game of the season. Aston Villa must win the last two games to have any chance to qualify for Champions League football at the end of the season. Please name the show, Jose. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all good, Chad. I'm all good. Thank you for having me on. It's been a long time coming. And yeah, I'm ready to get in and talk football.
Yeah, that's my biggest passion. I'm not sure what is watching and listening, but you have to bear with me. It's a bit of a bad day today. And some much condition there. Can be very challenging when it comes to test me sometimes. But you get good days and bad days. I'll give you a better day tomorrow. So let's talk about the Tottenham game then. So what do you expect from the game?
That's a loaded question to start me off, isn't it? Right. So I don't know what to expect from the game. So I did a podcast with the West Ham United network when we played away at West Ham, and we had the second leg of Bodo Glimt to play after that match, and they said to me, "What do you expect?" And I turned around and said, "Well, I don't know what to expect because it depends on the result and who we then." But so I said on the result, if we drew or won by 1 or 2 goals, I expected us to make less changes as opposed to if we'd won by 3 or more. I think we might have made less changes and swap players at half time, so to rotate. But now we've got to the final and they brought our game forward against Aston Villa by 48 hours or just under 48 hours.
Well, it annoyed a lot of fans that did.
Why did it? Yeah, I think because it's your last home game of the season. Yeah, it's your last home game of the season.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
and for that you would have had family days and stuff like that all sorted out, and because it would have been
everyone from work, everyone had to come to their plans.
But at the end of the day, it would have been an unfair advantage to Manchester United because their game was already fixed in for Sky purposes. Was already fixed in on a Friday, so they would have had a 48-hour advantage. So something had to give. Now, I'm not the decision maker. I'm not the decision maker. I'm not the rule maker. And, it was a decision that was made by the Premier League or whatever made the decision just to make it an even playing field for both clubs. One club was always going to miss out, and that was going to be Villa. But I see that a lot of the plans have been disrupted for Villa with that. But what I will say is that asking me the question that you've asked me to start off with, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what we're going to do because you're 5 games away from playing the Europa League final. Normal mentality would say to me that you've got to give some players some minutes to keep them ticking over. But Villa are fighting for Champions League. We're playing in a final. Villa at this point in the season, Villa will go in 110% into everything.
Well, for you guys.
Sorry?
Do you get anything else? Yeah.
Because you want Champions League, so you're going to go 100.
Let me finish.
Sorry.
So, you know, Europa League. I'm saying, you know, the Europa League. You can understand why it's upset a few fans. But you sort of get it.
Yeah, I like I said, the people that are upset are going to be the Villa fans because you would have had your plans and stuff for the Sunday. But then I also understand that for competitive purposes, it would have been unfair advantage to Man United had we played on a Sunday. But like I said, I wasn't the decision maker. I'm not the rule maker. The Premiership have done this, and you know, Aston Villa supporters. Aston Villa is a football club. Well, as a football club, I think you lodged a complaint against the Premier League about being opposed to changing the game, but they've deemed it to be. They've deemed the change, and that's what they've done. And that, so what we're here now, knowing that we're playing tomorrow night at 7:30.
So what is your focus? To be on the Europa League final. Don't be Tottenham's my focus.
But that's what I'm saying to you, Chad. So to me, right, when you're asking me the question that you're asking me, it's a really difficult one to answer because for me, Villa are going for this Champions League spot. You're in Europe, whatever happens, but you're going for the Champions League spot. So that means Villa will be wholehearted and 110% committed into all the challenges and everything. Tottenham, however, if they play some of the players to tick them over for next week's final, then them players are not going to go in at 110% because they don't want to injure themselves for a final. So, you know, it's so when you're asking me the question of what do I expect, I don't know what to expect because I don't know what the manager's going to do. I don't know whether he's going to pick a stronger 11 against you tomorrow. I don't know whether he picks a weaker 11. I don't know whether he's going to give minutes to people off the bench that might be playing in the final. And obviously, we've now lost further players to injury since the last game that we played in the Premier League. So it's like, who's going to stand up to be counted to play at Villa Park?
Yeah. And also, in recent years, our record against you guys has got better at Villa Park. Because always used to have a very good record generally at Villa Park over the years.
So I can't remember. I can't remember his last season, the season before. We beat you 4-0 away at Villa Park.
That's it. It's been after that sort of thing.
Yeah, but I think it's like either last season or the year before we beat you 4-0 at Villa Park. Surprise result for us because Villa were flying at the time. They're doing really well.
And we finished above you 3 seasons in a row now. It's amazing how things have changed.
Oh yeah, if we go back to 2018, if you go back to 2018 and you look at you go back to 2018, you look at the trajectory of both clubs. Your trajectory's gone up and ours has gone down. So we're at opposite ends. The thing is, though, I mean, I've been around for years and years and years. I'm an old fellow. I go back to the football in the 70s and stuff like that. So, but back when I grew up playing football and watching football and that, you didn't care. You just wanted the best players at your club, and you wanted football. Nowadays, we are fed and drip fed PSR, BBC, ITV, squad cost ratios. We're fed all this, and you know, instead of letting football be football, we now have to worry about certain other things that are outside, that are not football related. So when you look at the trajectories, Villa have spent and spent a lot of money to get to where they are, but you get what you pay for, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
If you go down the
Yeah.
bargain basement route, which is what Levy and Tottenham seem to want to do, and you look at the wages for the players and stuff like that, then it's an obvious reason why clubs are further up the table than where we are. And it's you know, they're facts. The facts are that if you pay the money for players and you pay the wage to the players, then you're going to get a better caliber of player. And obviously Villa, for me, looking at Villa, they didn't know, or they had a rough idea in January of where they were going to be. You knew you were still in the Champions League.
Yeah.
He was still in the FA Cup. You're still challenging for places in the league and that. And then you go out and you bring in Rashford and you bring in Asensio, and you bought another player.
Yeah.
I can't remember the third player. You bought three players, I think, in the winter transfer window. And
Asensio, yeah.
yeah, and
Rashford.
I thought there was a third player. I thought you bought Asensio, Rashford, and one other.
Garcia.
That's it. So you brought these players in, and it's helped you get to the quarterfinal of the Champions League.
Yeah.
It's helped you maintain your position in the league
Consistently.
Yeah, where you've been able to rotate your Emery's been able to rotate the players and fight on all,
in depth.
yeah, and fight on all fronts. But I mean, the cynic in fans, not necessarily. Sorry, my dogs are going. Not necessarily for Villa, but fans are now fed so much of this finance stuff. It's not about football anymore. It's all about you. All you read about is finances and that people are starting.
It ruins the game.
It does ruin the game because people are starting to question. Well, I mean, I don't, because I don't support Aston Villa. But for Aston Villa, if Aston Villa reach the Champions League, is that enough for them for this summer, or do your plans change in the summer? Are you able to keep players like Rashford and Asensio and people like that because of your squad cost ratio? We never used to.
Sustainability.
But we never talked about this, Chad, did we? We never talked about this 10, 15 years ago.
No, we didn't.
Yeah. We all just talked about football. So now, you know, football's been ruined. But, you know, that's another story.
It's been played on a spreadsheet instead of on the pitch.
Yeah.
And also, there'll be a massive drop-off in Tottenham, really. When you think last season, Villa and Tottenham were competing together for a Champions League place. We beat you to it, but then this season, 17th for the Premier. For a club like Tottenham, that's not good enough, really, is it?
No, it's not. I mean, but I said that I would reserve judgment in the summer until the transfer window closed. And I think the transfer window closed on the 2nd of September last year. So I kept my powder dry, didn't say anything at all until the transfer window closed. And when the transfer window closed, my first words were, and the season already started by then, but my first words were, when the transfer window closed, we are 5 players short in the first team because we let 12 players go last summer and we brought 5 players in. So that's a deficit of 7 players. And the only ready player that we bought in them 5 was Solanke. The rest were all kids. So, you know, at the end of the day, I said we were 5 players light at the moment the transfer window closed. And to me, if you're asking me the same question, if I get asked the same question now, I believe this season we have been 5 players light. If we go and win the Europa League next week, which means you're in Champions League football next season, we are 10 players light. So 5 as we are at the moment, but we're still another 5 short if we get to the Champions League.
You can add that to your team. But Andrew, in the last few weeks, there are a lot of changes to the lineup. But Heung-min Son's not starting. The things like Madison. I do like Spence though. Spence has been a good player for you guys.
It's interesting. It's interesting when Spence came into the side, right? I mean, I don't know for definite because I'm not at the training ground, but the way that I see it, Spence came into the side with something to prove and played really, really well.
Yeah.
However, I now believe that since Udogie, Van der Ven, and Romero returned from injury, I think the favoured back four for Tottenham picks itself. I think it's Porro, Van der Ven, Romero, Udogie. And with that being that, I feel that Jed now feels that he hasn't got a starting berth, and it doesn't matter what he does, the back four selects itself for Ange Postecoglou. And therefore, I think Spence, in the last month or so, has gone off the boil. Because when it's been all the major games, Spence has been on the subs bench. He's not starting, he's been on the subs bench. So that's where I think he's gone off the boil a bit. As with Son's been injured. Son's out injured. He only came back at the weekend and played half an hour.
Injury,
yeah. So he now has to prove his fitness for the final, possibly playing some minutes against Villa tomorrow. Maddison is out for the whole season and most of pre-season.
Yeah, but do you think Ange, though, he's not using it as an excuse, do you think? Because I don't think he should use it as an excuse. Sort of like, like with injuries.
I think
we had injuries as well.
I think with injuries, though, right? Right. Injuries, it's factual. It's factual. Your players are either injured or they're not. That's a fact. But I think with injuries, when you look at teams with the injuries, I suppose it comes down to, because everyone gets injuries, but I suppose it comes down to the amount of injuries that you've got.
I know you manage it, yeah.
Yeah, but it comes down to how many injuries you've got, what injuries you've got, and to what positions. So at one stage in the season, we had Vicario out, Van der Ven out, Romero out, Udogie out. So when you look at your back five and 4 out of the 5 are out, I don't care what team you are. I don't care what team you are.
Whoever you are. Yeah.
Whoever you are, that's going to affect you. I mean, look at Arsenal. Arsenal without Saliba last season affected. Arsenal without Gabriel this season.
Yeah, it affects you. Oh, yeah.
And that's one player. When you take 4 of your back 5 out, that's going to affect you. So I don't think it's an excuse. I don't think it's an excuse. I think it's actually factual that the injuries have been there. But, and this is a but to me, what you need to then do is you adapt. If you've got players but they don't fit that system, change the system. Play to players' strengths and don't shoehorn people in. And I feel that we've done a lot of. I feel that Tottenham have done a lot of shoehorning, and it's not paid off.
What you need? You need a big squad as well.
You do. I mean, we've got a squad. We've got a Premiership squad of 25, and then we've got the B team from the B list. We've got loads of the youngsters that come in as well and play. But it's not about that. It's that they're not good enough. That's what I'm saying. We were 5 players light in the summer because the squad we've got is just not good enough. And what Tottenham are doing, in my eyes, is they're following a model that Chelsea started over 20 years ago. Man City have done it for about the last 10 to 12 seasons, where you get all the best young players, get them into your academy, and hope they come through to your first team, or you hope that you sell them for big profit to other clubs. So Tottenham have started going down this route in the last 2 years since Paratici came to the club. But for me, Tottenham are speculating to accumulate. Now, they've bought players like Archie Gray in, you've bought Lucas Bergvall in, and you've got other youngsters coming through, like Mikey Moores, Oluwase's, Ajayi, Donnelly, Divine, Vuskovic. You've got all these youngsters coming through that are under the age of 20. So between the ages of 18 and 20 that are coming through. But I don't hold much hope that Tottenham have done that to build a side for the future, like in 2 or 3 years' time, when they start turning into proper first-team players. My fear is they've bought them and they'll just sell them on. So therefore, you're not creating a winning side for me. All you're doing is creating money for the balance sheets.
You got to think ahead for the future, as in utilise your academy players. Like you said, don't sell them. Try and keep them if you can.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to the atmosphere. A lot of Tottenham fans will only be going. Obviously, it's a Friday night game, obviously.
Yeah, but it does. I think Tottenham away support is very, very good. So
It's pretty good, isn't it?
whatever allocation Villa give us, I expect that allocation to be taken up fully by Tottenham. Tottenham always fill their allocation, whatever's given to them by the home club.
Yes.
So I expect the good support to go there. I expect them to sing a lot about Bilbao. I don't think they'll be singing any songs. Well, you might, I don't know, you might hear some of that, but I think most of the songs will be about on the road to Bilbao. Will be most of the songs tomorrow they'll sing at Villa Park.
Well, they're going to get the name for it, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to sing anything against Villa because we've got nothing to cry about. So there'll be no songs against Aston Villa because we've got nothing to cry about. As I said, whether you get some Levy out songs, I don't know, but you'll definitely get. I think you're just going to get a load of Bilbao songs.
Do you want Levy out?
I think Levy has done really well in the sense of what he does on the business side. I think what happened was, as I said, I'm old enough to remember all this. When Levy and Enoch came in, we'd had infighting at Tottenham with Irving Scholar like 10 years previous, and then 10 years for the next 10 years after that, it was the Alan Sugar, Terry Venables squabbles. So we were in dire straits and we nearly went bankrupt. For about 20 years, we hovered around bankruptcy. It was really poor times at Tottenham, but we won trophies. Even when we were in dire straits money-wise, we ended up still getting some trophies. But when he came and Enoch came, I think because of all the infighting we'd had at the club for the previous 10 to 20 years, everyone ignored what he said on the day that he came in. On the day that he came in, he said, "We are an investment company and we're investing in a football opportunity here to build a brand." And he said all this on the first day he bought Tottenham. But because we'd all been pissed off with all the infighting for years and years, we totally most of us dismissed what he said on the day that he came in. But they've been true to their word. They're an investment company. They came to grow, and they've grown. Because I think they started off with 23 million pound investment.
That's interesting.
Has become a 4.5 billion juggernaut now.
Yeah.
So yeah, off the pitch, he's done absolutely really well. If for people that know Tottenham, it was one of the poorer areas in London. You had a lot of Caribbean families in the Tottenham area, and it was considered and deemed to be one of the poorer areas of London. But they've come in, they've built the new stadium, and they've put money into Haringey, which is the council that Tottenham.
The stadium, it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's like being dropped in. It's like it's like if you watched the Extraterrestrial and the Close Encounters of the Third Kind and stuff like that back in the day. You had these futuristic ships, and that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like they've just plonked the ship.
A UFO, like a UFO.
Yeah, in the middle of Tottenham.
Some good things.
Yeah, so for me, business side, yeah, absolutely. Sterling, absolutely brilliant. But I feel that there's been some lies along the way. And the biggest lie was when they turned around and they sold the dream to Tottenham that if we got rid of the stadium and built a new super stadium, that all the revenues that came in from that stadium would be pumped back into the football teams, the first team of the men and the women and stuff like that. Well, we generate, I think, the third highest income in football throughout the world on match day receipts alone. Wow. Then we have all the concerts, we have the boxing events, we have NFL, we have Formula One underneath the stadium. You've got the Skywalk, you've got so much money that comes in. Yet Aston Villa were able to go and bring in Marcus Rashford and Marcos Asensio right?
Okay.
And there's no way you can tell me that Villa make more money than us because they don't, and nobody else does in the Premiership with match day revenue. Yet we're spending peanuts, and we're also offering peanuts for salaries. And
It's not with Villa.
Sorry?
We're the Champions League. And we paid the price. Starting to make big sales. We're forced to make big sales. To make way for PSR.
Is Aston Villa?
Yeah, Aston Villa, yeah, Douglas Luiz.
Yeah.
You know, there's an example, let's say Douglas Luiz.
Yeah,
So,
I remember. But he's done nothing. He's done absolutely nothing since he's got to Juve. Nothing.
No, he should have stayed at Villa.
He's done nothing at all. Did you sell Illy Jr.? No. No, Illy Jr. No.
At the moment, though, he's like been loaned him out to someone.
Sorry, you bought Illy Jr. in, didn't you, as part of the deal?
We bought him, but we loaned him out to Bologna.
Right.
I'm sure it was something like that, Bologna.
Yeah, so you lost Douglas Luiz, who was a good player at Villa, but he's not done nothing. He's not done anything at all since he got to Juve.
He hasn't at all. No, he should have definitely started at Villa.
Yeah, he's done nothing at all since he's gone
The
there.
one thing, going back to Levy, it's more decision making. On the pitches that you down. So like sort of bad decisions, I think.
Like I keep saying, business side of it, yeah, he's fine. The only time I've seen, but when he gets involved in football decisions, which is on the pitch, because he's getting involved in football decisions, that's when it goes Pete Tong. I want to ask you a question, Chad, if I can, right?
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that my thoughts, because I obviously have my own channel and I speak about this person quite often on my channel.
Okay.
So I speak about a chap called Johan Langer.
Yes.
I speak quite often about him. Now,
yeah.
I keep saying to everyone that will listen to me that Johan Langer wasn't wanted by Villa, and that when Tottenham went in for Johan Langer, Villa said, instead of putting him on gardening leave and like they do with all the other directors of football, Aston Villa said, yeah, you can have him straight away. Am I right or wrong in saying that?
Yeah, I think you're right, yeah. But obviously, we've got a good thing in place, seat structure. We've got Villa Garde, and obviously Monchi now, our sporting director. So I think it was both parties were happy with the decision, I think.
Okay, so what did Johan Langer do for Aston Villa?
Well, I actually, to be honest, like, I don't know a lot about him. I mean, I know little bits about him. I don't know like a lot about him.
But you support Villa, so you'd know whether he brought in some good players for you, some awful players, some
I think it's some, yeah. He brought in a few, decent ones, yeah. Over the years, I'd say, yeah. Overall, I'd say, yeah.
Okay, because I don't think Johan Langer does much at all. I think he's been a waste. I think he's been a waste of space since he's come to Tottenham. I said it was no surprise that Villa didn't stand in his way and give him garden leave and let him come to us straight away. The problem is that Johan Langer can't close deals, and because he can't close deals, which is part of his job, that's when Levy gets involved. So when we went for Matthias Tel on loan from Bayern, or to buy him, because we could actually buy him. So it was Langer that led the discussions. Langer spotted him, led the discussions, and Matthias Tel said no to Tottenham because Langer was the one that was doing the deals. Then word got out that Langer would be interested to come in if someone showed a higher level of professionalism during discussions. So Langer was taken out of the discussions, and who went and made the discussions? Daniel Levy. And this is what I mean. You've got to hire the right people to do the right job, and then Levy can stay away from it all. That's my opinion.
Oh yeah, it's true. You need the right structure in place, and a plan in place. That's what you need in football. Like you're running a football club, which is important. I was going to say to you actually. I think a lot of our players could cause you problems. I think on the counter attack, especially, the likes of Rodgers, I think, Asensio, and Watkins, he's playing some real high confidence. He's got the all-time Aston Villa goal scoring record. He's beat Eggball's record. There's
Yeah,
still,
but I didn't think Gabby's record was going to stand for that long anyway. I remember Gabby as a player.
yeah, he's on Talksport a lot now.
Yeah, I remember. I can't. When I remember you guys, you had Peter Whiff, you had Gary Shaw. I'm going back to the 70s to the team you had back. Dennis Mortimer was your captain. I'm going back to the 70s
Yes, he
because
was. Yeah,
I'm a lot older than what I may look. So I'm going back to the 70s. So yeah, I remember Villa's sides from back then as well.
yeah. I wanted to ask you how old you are.
I'm 57 in July.
All right.
So
But yeah,
yeah,
going back to the title. So yeah, do you think it'd be a comfortable victory for Villa?
I can never back against my team, Chad.
I mean, I would say possibly. Because we're higher than advantage. Obviously, you've got your eyes on the Europa League. So really, I think we'll go up to the Champions League race. Give the Champions League race.
Yeah, for you, the game is more important. And I shouldn't be saying this, but the game is more important for you because what I should be saying is that as a football team, my team should go out to win every game possible. And that's my thoughts if I was a player and I was playing. But the eggs seem to be in the basket of Aston Villa wanting to get to Champions League football because at the moment I think you sit just outside the places by matter of goal difference and stuff like that at the moment.
Yeah.
And tomorrow
It all depends on the results.
Yeah, but you need to win your games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
whatever happens, we need to win all of them.
Yeah. So tomorrow, the way that I see it is, right. Football was never played on paper. If it was played on paper, then tomorrow's victory should be an easy one for Aston Villa.
It's played on grass.
That's right. But on paper, tomorrow's an easy win for Aston Villa. For all intents and purposes, with the team that we're going to put out, and with what you're chasing, and with the level of attitude that you're going to give tomorrow compared to our players, on paper, you should have this game done and dusted. This is Tottenham Hotspur. You don't know. It's like Tom Hanks in Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. Yeah.
Box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get.
Which one you're going to get, yeah.
That's Tottenham. And our best results this season have been when we've had less possession and we have had to play on the counter. So when we beat City 4-0 away, when we beat who did we beat? We beat Man United 3-0 away. When we beat you at our stadium 4-1, and that all these games, the team that we played against, in them victories, had far more possession than us, and we played on the counter.
Well, look at Nottingham Forest. They play that similar way.
Yeah, but
similar way, and it works for them.
But we don't normally we don't always play that way. But the best results we've had this season have been playing on the counter, where we give up the possession. I feel that tomorrow night we'll give up the possession. I'd be surprised if we had more possession than Villa. I'd be really surprised. And it doesn't matter what.
I think we're done.
I don't know.
Possession.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, well, that's what I think. I find it hard to believe in whatever 11 we put out tomorrow. I find it very hard that we're going to try and outdo you for possession. It just remains to be: are we going to be competitive enough on the counter? And that's what it will be. Will we be competitive enough? I don't know. I can't. It's the same as when I did the West Ham pod. I can't answer because there's no rhyme or reason. I don't know what Tottenham are going to do.
Agree, yeah.
If I knew what the lineup was going to be and stuff like that, I could give you a better answer. But because I don't know, with Villa, I can probably pick your lineup.
You can pick
your lineup. Your lineup picks itself, right?
Oh, it does.
You won't get far wrong from picking the Villa lineup. Try picking the Tottenham lineup.
Yeah, that'd be difficult. Also, Villa can't be complacent.
Sorry, I coughed. I didn't hear you.
It's important we're not complacent. We can't be complacent, I think. We need to get the job done.
Yeah, I don't think you can be complacent against whoever you play. It doesn't matter whether you were playing one of the relegated sides or not. I mean, the relegated sides have proved recently that, you know, it's no skin off their back now. They're down and now they're playing with freedom. So you can't be complacent against anybody that you play in the Premiership.
Well, in the FA Cup game, Marcus Tel, he scored against it. I think he'd be dangerous. He's got quite good pace.
Matthias Tel.
Matthias Tel, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know who he's going to pick tomorrow.
And you know, James Madison.
Yeah.
Has he been playing? He's very creative.
Madison's injured. Madison's out. Madison's out for the season and for probably half of pre-season at least.
See, that's another big loss.
Kulusevski's now out. He's had an operation on his patella yesterday. He's out for 3 months.
Yeah.
Bergval's out injured as well. As I said, if football was played on paper, then it's a no contest.
Because I didn't realise that you had so many injuries.
Yeah, we still got players out. We still got players out at the moment.
Oh well, so it's going to be interesting. I mean, in place of that Europa League final, against Man United, what the team's going to be for that?
It leaves us with the 3 players I've just said. It leaves us with Bentancur, Bissouma, and Sarr as regular midfielders. So out of the 6, 3 are out injured, and we've got 3 left. We normally play a 4-3-3. So does he play the 3 of them tomorrow, or does he rest them to not risk injury? And if he does, what 3 is he going to bring in? Because it has to be the kids, because we've got other injuries throughout the squad as well.
Yeah, I'll
so
give
it has to be the kids.
Yeah.
So it have to be the kids. You have to be looking at Ajayi, Aloisi, Mikey Moore. You're going to have to be looking at the youngsters because the rest of them are out injured. And then up front, you've got a returning Son who's trying to prove fitness for the final. But that doesn't mean him proving fitness. The only way he proves fitness to me is if he plays against Aston Villa and he has a barnstormer. Because other than that, he ain't proving fitness to me at all. You've got Richarlison and Solanke, who may be rested because they're probably going to be involved next week. Then you've got Tel, Odebert, Johnson. I reckon he'd probably rest Johnson as well.
Yeah.
So then it could be Tel, Odebert, and Son that play up front against you 3 tomorrow. I don't know who he picks in midfield. In defence, he may go for Archie Gray at right back, Kevin Danso, Ben Davis, and Jed Spence as left back. And then like that, he rests the whole of the back 4 for the cup final. Like I said, I'm shooting area because I don't know exactly what he's going to do tomorrow.
Are you going to Bilbao?
No.
Yeah.
No, I didn't have the points to go with it.
And so we'll talk about Ange Costa-Pontino. So do you think he'll get the sack in the summer, no matter what happens?
Okay, right. I'm not going to say the sack, Chad, but I think personally there's a lot more at play, right? There's a lot more at play here, and for me, I just think that the chemistry is not right at the club, and for that reason, I believe that he won't be here next season because of the chemistry.
Me too.
So when if you ask me the wider question, you said to me, Jose, what's the problem at Tottenham? I could tell you what the problem at Tottenham is, but it would look like a pizza because everybody, for me, takes a slice. So that Daniel Levy in the board, slice. They need to take a slice. Scott Munn, who hired Langer and Ange and does nothing, he's a spreadsheet merchant, he takes a piece of the pie. Langer, for me, is absolutely useless in his talent ID and in his dealings with players, takes a piece of the pie. Ange Postecoglou needs to take a piece of the pie as well for his lack of changing up the system.
You don't have a plan B.
Yes, for his lack of change in the system, for the injuries that we did have, instead of flogging people that were left behind, he could have brought the youngsters in and given them. If you gave a youngster 15 minutes here and there, then you save 15 minutes on one of your more experienced players, and then you wouldn't have more injuries piling on more injuries. So I think some of the decision making has got to come down to Ange. I think the players take a piece of the pie as well, because I think some of the players have been abysmal this season. I think the coaching team have got to take part of the blame as well, because whatever they're coaching the players, it's wrong. It's just not right, because the players don't perform and they've not got any better, and that comes down to the coaches, because Ange makes it clear that he's a manager and he delegates to the coaches, so the coaches run the training sessions. And then the other one that I say is the medical team. The medical team at Tottenham are unbelievably bad. Bad. They've changed the medical team, and now you've got Christian Romero, Mickey van der Ven, and there are others as well that have come out and personally thanked other medical teams for helping them come back, because they had no faith and trust in what the Tottenham medical team were doing with them, because they were saying and doing whatever they were doing with them, and the players became re-injured. So to me, the problem at the club is, like I said, like a piece of pizza. For me, it's not one person; it's a multitude. It's a multitude of sins for me.
Doesn't get Ange as well, I think. He's very dismissive in interviews as well. But he always seems to come across, like, you know, sort of like moody in a way, like you watch these like press conferences.
He never used to be, Chad. He never used to be. Now, the thing is, obviously, if you watch football from around the world, so if you watch football in Spain or Italy or other countries, if you ask a question of finance, you don't ask it to the manager, because the manager doesn't deal with the finances. So what you do is you ask the sporting director, and quite often in Spain, the sporting director will take a press conference. In Italy, they do it. Here in England, sporting directors don't take press conferences. If you've got players on the medical, on the injury list or on the medical table or in the treatment room and that, and you ask a manager's not qualified to tell you anything medically. Ask the medical team, right? So for me, I just think that, and then obviously if you want to ask questions about the what's the goal, what's the ambition, what's the long-term plan, what's the mid-term plan for the club, there's no point asking your manager. The people, the hierarchy, are the ones that can answer that. And what I find is, and this is where I am going to defend Ange, is that the press are very, very astute in what they ask, and they ask the questions for a certain reason, but they're asking the wrong person, because that person can't answer them questions for you, because doesn't have the full facts to answer them. But yet they ask him the same questions over and over again that should be answered by others. And I think at the end of the day, he either thinks you're an idiot by asking me these questions, because you know that I don't know the answer, so I'm going to give it back to you in a certain way. And he does. He gets prickly, but I think that he's been the defence shield for a lot of problems at Tottenham. And he's the one that's taken all of it from all the presses and that. He's taken it all, but there's other people at fault, but they don't step up. Their heads don't come over the parapet. And therefore, everyone says, it's Ange. It's not, because Ange is not qualified to answer medical questions. Ange is not qualified to tell you about the finances of the club. Ange is a manager of the football team. That's it. He's not anything other, and he gets asked these questions all the time. And I think that when he talks with his Australian humour, if you have Australian friends, you'll know that they've all got dark humour, right? And he answers questions, because Australians love banter, and he answers the questions. And then if he thinks that you're an idiot, he's going to answer the question to you in a certain way to make you look like the idiot. So he's not being prickly for me. So at the end of the day, it may come across like that, but I'm putting no blame whatsoever on him in his press conferences. I think there's other people that are sheepish, that haven't stepped up, and he's taken the brunt for them.
It's a bit like, you know, that Chelsea game. Did they that decision? Oh, then there was a big that interview about that, wasn't there? It got very heated. I know that one did.
What one? The last season's one where we went down to 9 men.
No, this season. Was it looking at offside or something? God.
After the Chelsea game.
Surely it was Chelsea.
Oh, I can't remember then. I can't remember that.
Yeah, it was that one. But yeah, I'll see what you're saying though. Yeah, that's a good point.
So yeah, so I'm on that. There's a lot of faults he's got, Chad. I'm not going to say he hasn't. We're all human beings. We've all got faults, but I can't lay blame on him totally for him being prickly at presses, because I think he gets set up big time by the press. And in the end, he turns around and says, "Really, you're going to ask me that question? Can't you see the? You know what the answer is, so why are you asking me the question? You know." So I can understand why, because 2 years of the same stuff. I mean, he was a darling for the media when he first started. Everyone loved him. He's everyone's mate. But
when he first came in, there was a big bounce. When he first came into Tottenham, he had that big bounce. The ambition was there.
Yeah, you're right. The weird thing is, Chad, that when he first came in, that's when we had Conte, Stellini, Mason, and this is after Conte's interview after the Southampton game, when he laid it all out bare, saying what he thought of Tottenham as a club, which I think he told a lot of home truths in that Conte. But the team and the club were in turmoil at the end of that season. And when Ange came in, there was an immediate bounce, because Ange united the whole club. So he united the fans, the board. So for me, at the time, when Ange came in and the smiles came back on people's faces, my first words were, the board have fallen upon a gem here, because the board, everyone was against the board. Ange has come in, he's united everyone so quickly, and people have laid off the board. The board must be happy, because that's worth millions to them alone, having the fans not being on their back. And Ange managed to do that at the very start of his tenure. Obviously now we've got to where we are, and I think there's more fans that want a change at board level than want Ange out, if that makes any sense.
See what you're saying? Yeah, I could see. Yeah, I get that.
So you've got protest marches now. They've started protesting. They've now got a group called Change for Tottenham. They've started protesting, and they protest. They do sit-ins at the stadium. They do the marches to the stadium, all peaceful, and that they do it all peaceful. They do it all above board. They don't antagonise, but they do it to make sure that you're still supporting the team, and that it's clear that your protest is clearly just against the board. And that has picked up momentum and gathered pace this season, especially towards the end of the season. So now, bearing in mind that we're in a Europa League final, regardless of that, even when we were in the last 16, even when we were in the quarters, even in the semis, even around all these times that we're still battling to try and get through to the final.
You could change the season.
Change for Tottenham have still protested against the hierarchy. So more people are wanting the hierarchy out than what there are people protesting against the manager, because people now believe as well that by having the manager in place, it's defending the board, because it means the board are not being attacked.
Yeah, Ange as well. When he first came in, he gave you a brand new philosophy as well. And a lot of fans were optimistic before the season started.
Last season.
Yeah.
Right, so with that, the reason for the optimism is that we were playing dull as dishwater football with Conte, very defensive football, and we didn't want to play defensive football. The fans wanted to play, and as per our motto, as per our motto, to dare is to do. And we wanted that kind of football. So if you look at the Postecoglou way of playing football now, before Postecoglou came, I didn't know much about him, so we had to look into him. And when we looked into him, saw diagrams of the formations and how he plays football, starting from Australia. So when he had Brisbane Roar, then he had Melbourne that he managed as well. So Melbourne Hellas, Brisbane Roar. Then we looked at Yokohama, and we looked at Celtic, and we looked at Australia when they had the national team. And you saw the way he played football, which was chaos possession football, and you saw his formations and the way that he set up and the way people were in transition and in attack and defending anyway. And as you looked at every club he's gone to, it's the same with a minor adaptation, right? So you get all the way to looking at what he did at Celtic, and you think to yourself, "Wow, that's an interesting way of playing football. You can score goals in this, but can you defend goals in this system?" And that's what we were looking at. Now, last season, we started off with that 10-game unbeaten sequence where we won 8, drew 2. There was some. I'll be honest with you, Chad. There were some right crap performances amongst them 10 games.
Oh yes.
But we got the W. We got the win in some of the games. I thought we were awful, but we ended up getting the results. I think we beat Palace 1-2-1, 1-0 or 2-1, and it was an awful game. Palace should have beaten us, and we got the 3 points. We beat Luton away 1-0. Mickey van der Ven scored, and in that game, I think Biss got sent off in that game, and Luton were far better than us, but we got the victory. So it masked the euphoria. Was we were unbeaten in 10 games, but we weren't playing the greatest of football. Our football has to play the football that we want to play. I believe you've got to have the right players, and again, we shoehorn players into positions. So someone like Brennan Johnson for me is an inside forward or a second striker, right? Like he was at Forest. He was a second striker. Tottenham have ID'd him, brought him in to play him out wide on the wing as a wide forward who takes players on. He don't do that. Brennan Johnson don't take players on. Brennan Johnson's a finisher, and he finishes at the back post, and he's our top goal scorer, and people still vilify him, but he's our top goal scorer. So you're looking at players like this, and you think to yourself, Sonny is not a left winger.
No.
He's not. Sonny at best is an inside forward. So you're playing players and you're shoehorning them into positions they're not used to playing. And we do it with our defenders. Our defenders were playing with, we say we play with a 4 at the back, but if you look at when the players, Odogi and Porro they're both really, really good players. They were bought to play in a 3-5-2 system. The teams that they came from played 3-5-2. They are orthodox wing backs. They're not full backs. When we bought Jed Spence and he had his breakout season for Borough, he is a wing back. He played wing back. He didn't play right back for Borough.
Not out of position, yeah.
So we're playing players out of position. We're playing players and shoehorning them into positions. And at the end of the day, for Angie's football to work, right, you need players that can play that system, that specialists, so to speak, in playing that system. And I think that we are way, 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 way away from having the right players to play the system he wants. We're just shoehorning, and it makes us at times look a really awful side.
God, it is, isn't it? Like, you're very brave on the ball. And you do like to take risks.
But it's taking risks in this stupidity, Chad.
Yeah, exactly. And this season, that's what you've been doing.
Our goalkeeper, brilliant shot stopper, Vicario, absolutely brilliant shot stopper, should I say. But when he's got the ball, and we were told when we were told we were going for David Raya from when he was at Brentford, and Brentford wanted 40 million for him or something. This is Daniel Levy for you. They wanted 40 million for him, and Levy said, "No, I ain't paying that." So Paratici went out and got Vicario. If you look at the stats, Vicario and Raya are similar with their feet and stats, or were back then 2 years ago, with their stats and distribution. You look at them both now, and you think to yourself, Raya's distribution is absolutely top draw. Vicario's distribution, when you're saying brave or stupid, I'm going for the latter. I think some of his passing and some of his distribution to the defenders and to midfielders is stupidity. It's not risky, it's stupidity. You're playing.
Martinez.
Sorry?
Martinez. You know Martinez.
Yes.
No, he plays. He's good with his feet.
Yeah,
He's
but
got good
Martinez.
distribution, you know.
Hold on. We're talking chalk and cheese here because Martinez is a World Cup winner.
Yeah.
It's chalk and cheese.
The world's number one.
Yeah, but there you go. It's chalk and cheese. There's no point comparing Martinez to our goalkeepers.
Maybe not next season, though, maybe. He has conceded a few the season before.
Yeah,
But he has won a few, but yeah.
Our goalkeepers. We've got. I mean, at the end of the day, you know when I said I give the piece of the pie to everyone? In our first team, we have 5 goalkeepers in our first team. So you've got Vicario, Kingsky, who's just been bought in January.
Kingsky, yeah.
Right. You've got Brandon Austin, who made his first appearance for Tottenham. He's been 7 years at the club. He made his first appearance for Tottenham in late December. And I think he's played twice for Tottenham this season. 7 years, he's only played twice. Then you've got Forster, who's on his way out, but he's number 4. And then you've got Alfie Whiteman, who's homegrown, academy trained, never touched the ball for Tottenham ever.
That's crazy.
So, that shows you we are. Listen, I can say there's a piece of the pizza for everybody. But when you've got a squad of 5 goalkeepers, get rid of 2 of the goalkeepers and get some outfield players. 3 keepers is enough in a squad of 25. You don't need 5.
Who do you think's the best goalkeeper?
What, out of all of them?
Yeah, Kingsky or when you
I think if you could have a hybrid, I'd go for the saves, for shot stopping. I want Vicario, but if I could clone the keepers for distribution, I'd have Kingsky. So you clone them both, and we've got a half decent keeper. We ain't got Emi Martinez, but we've got a half decent keeper. You're cloning both of them. But when you've got separate goalkeepers, put it this way: if we cloned all 5, they wouldn't get nowhere near Emi Martinez on his own.
Oh no, definitely not. He's a different quality.
Yeah.
It's got one more question for you.
I'm surprised Arsenal let him go to you, and you got him really cheap as well.
Yeah, I got 2 more for you.
Go on in.
So I'll talk about Europe then. So, what's your thoughts on Aston Villa qualifying for Europe the 3rd consecutive season in a row?
Yeah, you can see why. There's no hiding from it. You can see why they're qualifying. You can see the quality that they've got. I will say that only because it's drummed into your head about his finances and that, Villa have got some issues at the end of this season, and they've got to sort them issues out. But if I'm going to be brutally honest as an outsider looking in, Villa, so we've got Daniel Levy, who everyone hates to deal with, who's meant to be this astute businessman. Well, if you're so astute, why don't you pay some of that money and bring people in to the football club that know the laws of the game and that can circumnavigate them? Because we watched the horse trading right in front of us last season between Everton, Villa, Chelsea, Newcastle. They all horse traded amongst themselves in order to get out of PSR. The same will happen this season. I mean, I've heard some rumours already about Villa, and I'm thinking to myself,
Watkins?
Sorry?
About Ollie Watkins?
Nah, ain't Ollie Watkins. It's your Leon Bailey.
Oh yeah, I think he'll go, yeah.
Yeah, but the Saudis are prepared to pay an astronomical figure to take Leon Bailey from Aston Villa, which will clear your PSR for the season.
Well, yeah, I'll take that also with Bailey. He hasn't been consistent enough.
Yeah, but I think last year you had John Duran. John Duran went for a big price last year, saved you on PSR last season. And there's rumours that it's that this season the Saudis are already prepared to do a deal for Leon Bailey, and Aston Villa won't miss Leon Bailey. You won't miss him at all. He's hardly played with you. You've got other
No,
players.
he hasn't been good enough, I don't think, personally.
But there you go. So if you get, let's say, like, for argument's sake, if you got 60 to 70 million for Liam Bailey, you're going to be laughing. You're going to be opposed to it.
Oh, I love that. I'll take that, yeah.
And what does that do? That sorts out Aston Villa's PSR. And I'm hearing rumours already that Leon Bailey to Saudi for big money. So I don't know how the Saudis are involved with Aston Villa, but they are.
Well, I've heard rumours going about Martinez. I might be linked to Saudi as well.
Yeah, I don't know whether Villa are going to let go of their prize assets.
No, I hope not.
No, I don't think Villa will get let go of their prize assets. But yeah, you can see why. Like I said earlier, I think I answered it earlier when I said if you pay the money for players and you pay the wages for players, then invariably wages and prices factually shoot you further up the league. It's factual. You can look at people's purses and wage strings and stuff like that, and it's factual that people that pay more finish higher up in that table. So with Villa for 3 seasons qualifying for Europe, it's no surprise because you can see what they've done. You can see the caliber they've gone out for.
Thanks to Emery.
Sorry?
Thanks to Unai Emery.
Yeah, but with Emery, it's not Emery though, because the person that does the deals.
He's the next level, isn't he?
No, but he's a manager, and he picks. He's a good manager. He's a good coach. But it's your guy now. The guy in the background's pulling your strings is Monchi, mate. Monchi's absolutely world class.
Oh yeah, Monchi. Yeah,
Monchi pulls the strings for you, mate. He's world class. Monchi. He's known. Monchi's world class. He pulls the strings for Villa. So Monchi goes in for you. You know you're going to get a serious deal. But on Unai Emery, But Unai Emery's a great coach, footballing coach. I think he got given although I'm not an Arsenal fan, nowhere near it. I think he got a rough ride at Arsenal. I think he was given a load of shit to deal with at Arsenal. I think he was dealing with it, but I just didn't give him enough time. And if you ask Arsenal fans now, would they rather have Emery or Lego Head? They all say Emery, mate. All of them say Emery. Every single one says Emery. And they all say quite clearly that they felt that Emery was discarded far too early, wasn't given the chance.
Well, it's Emery at Villa. To go the keys to the castle so he can build a project. And now we're performing consistently. That's what Emery wants, like a European football team. We'll see a team like Villa. We're at least top 4 or top 6 team. That's the level where I think we are right at now.
But Monchi's done a lot of that. Emery's a good coach. Emery's a very good coach, but Monchi's the beast that you need. So,
he's a genius, Monchi. I mean, he's made since he joined actually. He's made some great transfers.
That's right, and that's because of Monchi. I mean, you look at Man City when they had Bergudi Stein, that they bought him from Barca. Bergudi Stein came in, and he was the director of football at Man City, and he stepped down last season. But when Bergudi Stein was there, Man City's rock and castle was all built because of Bergudi Stein. Doesn't matter who the manager was. Bergudi Stein went and done all the deals.
Yeah,
and when you get proper football people, chat. Proper football people in proper football positions, then you're going to... Sorry?
Vinagana. He's part of the team of Monchi. Yeah. You got Monchi, Vinagana.
Yeah, but Monchi's...
You're part of that team.
Yeah, they work well together, but you've got Monchi's the draw, right?
I met him. I met Monchi. I met him, actually.
Did you?
Yeah, I met him at the Aston Villa store. And what I like about him is he gets involved with the fans.
Yeah. But he's been successful everywhere he's been, Monchi. He's proper. When you're looking for a world-class DOF, Monchi's a world-class DOF. There's no getting away from it.
He was a goalkeeper. Scottish goalkeeper.
To be a great director of football, it doesn't matter what position you played, or even if you didn't play the game at the highest standard, you're very good at your job. It's as simple as that. And Monchi is. Monchi's one of the top world-class directors of football. And Villa would have had to pay for him. So whatever you've paid for him, I think every penny that his wage I think it's worth it because you can see the success that it's been brought to Aston
Yeah,
Villa.
they all deserve credit.
But I mean, for Tottenham now, with the way things are looking, there's a lot of rumouring that Paratici's coming back to Tottenham. Fabio Paratici, who was at Tottenham but got done for Juventus scandal, and his ban finishes on the 25th of June. And there's talk about him re-signing with Tottenham and coming back. And if he's then our director of football, then I think Tottenham could look better, because the only person that's had Levy's ear in 21 years that Levy's been at Tottenham's helm, the only person he's allowed to do any football stuff out of all the directors of football and all the coaches and all the managers and everyone ever involved with him is Paratici for 2 years before Paratici got banned. So Paratici comes back, Paratici will say, right, I want the reins back. I want the football all back on my side. If that happens, then I can see a bit of light for Tottenham in the future. It's going to take time, but I can see a bit of light. But you need Paratici back there.
I've got one more question for you.
Go on.
So how do you feel about getting into the Europa League final? And can you understand frustration from the other Premier League clubs? I know we slightly touched on it earlier, but is there a bit more you want to add?
What was frustrated? Who's frustrated? What Premiership clubs?
Not as in not the other teams like Villa.
So it's only Villa that frustrated. It's only Villa that frustrated because no one else is.
Apart from Tottenham and Man United.
Right. So Villa are frustrated because of the change in the fixture from Sunday to tomorrow. Now, as I said earlier, I don't want to be shocked because it's not. I didn't make that decision. The decision was made by the Premier League. I can understand why they made that decision because with their they didn't have a crystal ball back when they done all the fixtures, and for money purposes, because it's all about money, they changed the Man United game, Chelsea game. It was changed ages and ages ago to the Friday. It would have been competitively unfair to play 48 hours later. However, as I said earlier, Villa did put an objection in, I believe. I don't know what the objection was about because they don't share that information. But whatever it was, the Premier League have made a decision. I understand the frustrations for Aston Villa, and I explained them earlier. But, you know, at the end of the day, I also see the competitive side of it. Look, if it was us, right, and we're playing Villa and the shoe was on the other foot, I don't know whether the fans would be as frustrated as what Aston Villa's fans are, because I think that we can see the competitiveness and we can see the other side of the coin. But, you know, at the end of the day, you can't tell people how to feel and not feel. Everyone has their own emotions. Everyone has their own thoughts. You know, at the end of the day, if what we need is, I know that you've got rivalry in that with all clubs, but what we need in this country is you need your teams to do as well as possible to get other people the opportunities in the years going forward. Yeah. So last season, had they done slightly better last year, the English teams, then it wouldn't have been a battle between Villa and Tottenham, regardless that you beaten us to 4th place last year. It wouldn't have been a battle because 4th and 5th would have got it last year. This year, the English clubs have played well enough to guarantee you 4th, 5th for next season. And what we won,
the way you've been playing in the Premier League, a lot of fans don't think you deserve it. But I understand from your point of view, though.
But with the Premiership, right? The rules haven't been created for Tottenham and Manchester United. The rules were there before time, and at the end of the day, I see Arsene Wenger coming out and blowing his French trumpet again, saying, you know, that the winners of the Europa League this season shouldn't have a Champions League spot. But the rules have been there since 2015. Why change? Why are you changing the rules now? Because you don't like it that a team 16th and 17th in the Premiership have absolutely dominated Europe in the Europa League, and all the teams that come, I don't know, 3rd, 4th, or 5th in their respective countries aren't good enough to beat Premiership teams.
Do you think you're struggling? You struggle, man. Do you think you struggle in the Champions League?
Like I said earlier, Chad, I think with 5 players like this season, and I said that, made it clear earlier. But if we win the Europa League and qualify for the Champions League, we'll be 10 players light. We'll need another 5 players. We're 5 players, first team players short this season.
Still really nice, yeah.
We'll need another 5 if you qualify for the Champions League. Just to make things right, even if we weren't to win the Europa League, so we're not in Europe next season, we are still 5 light. We're still 5 light because we're 5 light this season. And Champions League, we're 10 players light.
Yep. The other way around, I suppose, if he was in your situation, we would probably take it. And so the other side of the coin.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, Chad, I mean, I was thinking about this when you asked me the questions earlier. I was thinking about this and I thought to myself, if Tottenham, obviously I want Tottenham to win the Europa League, but if Tottenham and Man United won the Europa League, in terms of English clubs and English trophies, that'd be the second highest trophy this season. And we finished 16th or 17th in the league, because you take Liverpool, have got the ultimate trophy in the Premier League. The second highest trophy after that is going to be the Europa League, because we've got no English teams in the Champions League final. The third trophy after that will be the FA Cup. Then if Chelsea win, it will be the Conference League, and the League Cup will be 5th.
Yeah, well, I would say we'll finish off this podcast, but before we leave, can you tell me your score prediction?
For tomorrow night?
Yeah, what's your score prediction?
Okay, like I said to you, Chad, I think you've seen it on my channel. I do a predictions league, and I've never ever backed Tottenham to lose a game. I'll never do it. So, and I lose points for that, because I don't get points for the predictions that I make that are wrong. But I've predicted, because I can't go against my team, I've gone for 1-2 tomorrow.
I'm gonna go a 2-0 Villa win. I think we'll keep a clean sheet.
Okay, and can I say, just for now, regardless of how many players we've got injured, regardless of what the side looks like next Wednesday, yes. Tottenham 2, Manchester United 0. So the minute we beat Bodo, before we got more injuries, I said 2-0 then, and I'm staying with 2-0 now.
Well, good luck to you got, apart from tomorrow, obviously. Good luck for the Europa League final.
Yeah, thank you, Chad. Thank you very much for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Good, I really enjoyed it, and well, thank you everyone for watching. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit the like button. So smash those likes. Make sure to give it a share. Spread the word about this podcast. If you're listening via audio platforms, make sure to listen on Spotify, or Amazon Music. Give us a good review. Also, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much, Jose, for your time.
It's been a pleasure.
I'm going to wrap up this episode with Villa forever and up the Villa.